Good afternoon. Happy Easter, everyone. This is Jamie O'Brien with O'Brien Homes. Today on the interview series, I'm joined with my friends Chad and Macey Franklin, also known as the Franklins of Bham. They're local real estate agents. I'm really brought them on because I think they have a unique perspective of what's happening right now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys both still work full-time and do real estate on the side. I'll let you kind of introduce yourself a little bit more, but as someone who also holds a W-2 and invests as kind of my part-time gig, I really wanted to get a feel of kind of how your world's changing right now. But I really appreciate you guys taking the time. It's Easter Sunday, so thank you so much for being with us here on Easter. I hope you all having a good one. But I guess we'll just jump into it. I want to give you guys an opportunity just to introduce yourselves, tell everyone kind of who you are, what you guys are doing, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Well, I'm Macey Franklin, of course, married to Chad Franklin.
Chad.
We did start real estate last year, so we've been doing it for a year now. We started it with the ambition of having excess to give away. So we do both still have full-time jobs. And I have to disagree with you. You're not working part-time on your investment. That's a full-time job too. So you have 2 full-time jobs. We've got 4. So, and right now what we're in is, like you said, it is kind of different because we are at home. Chad's a teacher.
Yeah, so I teach at McAdory High School, and I'm the work instructor out there. So I deal with kids and taking them out and 2 job sites and trying to get them work hours to get ready for the workforce. So it's kind of what I do. So I'm done at 3 every day. And so from 3 to, whenever I'm tackling real estate. So.
Well, I'm being home right now. He's still working from 9 to 12 with the students. I had to, suffer the furlough that I know everybody's going through right now with my daytime job, I guess, more or less. But it's been able to let me focus more on real estate, really study the market and do some things. And so I know that right now we're trying to use this time to our benefit, which I think a lot of people can do.
So on the flip side, kind of my background a little bit, kind of tell you about my family's background. My dad's an appraiser.
Okay. Yep.
My brother's an appraiser. And so I kind of got it. My dad built houses when I was growing up. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of had that background a little bit. And then I started coaching football and got into teaching it. And then I just kind of felt like it was time for me to maybe do something else. So that's kind of why I got into real estate, seeing how we could do it, and just kind of going from there.
Awesome. Well, you guys said something that jumped out at me in the very beginning, that you started real estate really to have more to give. I think that is incredible. Speaks a lot to who I know you to be and kind of who you guys are. And I think that's amazing. So you guys jumped in probably the hottest market we've ever seen. And so real estate. Tell me a little bit.
Yeah, it's been good and bad.
Yeah, for sure.
As new agents, what we found is let's be real. The buyers have to trust you, use you, and then sellers trust you. And so we had friends that were buyers. We had random people who came on to us as buyers. And so we started out in the buyer's market. And like you said, it was like everything we looked at was multiple offers.
It was good and bad in that situation. Like, it was good because we were new and we had some fresh ideas. But on the flip side, it was so hard to get that buy.
Right.
It's a very emotional process. I know that it probably is for you too when you sell. But like when you're in there and you're multi-offers, and then like you feel like you lose a house where you're buying, and you're like in this back and forth strain, which we kind of have thought about in the situation we're in right now. Our fresh buyers, so we're working with some buyers right now who don't have a house to sell. And so they can look right now. They're still looking. They still want to buy right now. Yeah. So, and they can be in situations where they're not dealing with multi-offers. When they go and make an offer, it might just be them and somebody else. It's not 10 offers at one time. So there is an advantage to being a buyer right now as far as that goes. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say that's true. And kind of like, like she said, kind of touched on, people are listing their house right now, but there's not many people making that jump into buying right now.
Right. Right.
So, if you're looking to buy right now, it's kind of the time to get out there and look, or at least virtual look, so that when this thing does open back up, you can be the first one to make an offer on the house.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, talk to me a little bit more about that. What we've seen, I guess, over the last couple of years is more buyers than we had inventory, right? It seemed like they just nobody, you were losing houses. You had multiple offer situations. I mean, it was just unlike anything I've ever seen. So
Right.
has that started to affect sales prices or list prices or anything as far as, your sellers? Are you seeing that? I guess, are you seeing any adjustments yet? Or I know real estate tends to be a little bit slower to adjust. I personally think if we can get through this coronavirus thing by, even by June, I think real estate's going to jump right back where we were.
We agree.
Are we seeing any kind of price drop right now or anything?
We haven't seen, we've looked at some scales and some markets where they're talking about the prices might soften a little bit, but it depends on how long this goes. Like you said, we feel like right now, and this is what we've told a lot of our listings, that buyers are they're sitting at home because they're scared. Like as soon as it got announced, we're going to the end of April, people went, because people were looking, and they kind of put on the brakes, which is fine to have a reserve. You're being wise with your money. But we feel like as soon as they say, all right, we're open back up, let's go, that all of these buyers have favorited houses, they've kept it in their pocket, and as soon as we're ready to go back, it's going to be right back where we were.
I don't think there's going to be a price change.
We haven't seen that yet.
Like you said, I mean, if it goes into June, July, possibly, but I think there's enough inventory or not enough inventory that's still going to keep that price. I think people are still gonna pay the prices that we've been paying for the last 2 years.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you. And so, I mean, like, I guess what we're doing is I've got one that I'm going to list hopefully this coming Friday, and we're starting construction on another one. And just what I'm planning for myself mentally is expect that to be on the market for a little while.
Yeah.
We love those girls.
Got one trying to break in right.
Yeah, so I don't think, I mean, even if it sits for,
like 30 days, but here's the deal though, is we got so used to days on the market, like 15 days on the market, whoa, which is nothing compared to the way the market used to work. So we say it's going to sit a while, but what is that going to be? 30 days, maybe 45 days? Whoa, that's really not that much, And I think people don't understand that short time is not much.
I'm listening. Come here. You want to be a part of this? Okay.
Oh, here she comes. Come on in, Emmy. We missed.
This is one of our chief popsicle officers. She's going to join us.
Hey, girl.
So no, I think that's great feedback. So do you guys, and I think I know the answer to this, but you guys have listings out there right now. Excuse me. And so what what advice are you giving to your sellers and also any buyers that you're helping with? Because I believe you just helped close a property not too long ago, and that one seemed to go fairly smooth. So kind of, what's changing as far as what you're telling your clients right now?
So basically with the buyer side, we try to tell the sellers the house we're going to look at, kind of turn the lights on, open the doors, whatever you can. But on the flip side, I'm also going in and kind of wearing gloves, wearing the mask. And I'm trying to do all that stuff in case the listing doesn't do that, so that the buyers can come straight in and just take a look around without touching anything. Or if they want to go outside the back door, I open the door with my gloves on and stuff like that. Just kind of a precaution or whatever, just so they can walk in, see what they want to see, and without touching anything like that.
Well, and for buyers right now too, interest rates are in a good place.
Yeah.
So that's an advantage too right now. Like you can get out there and look when maybe not so many people are looking because they might be scared, but your interest rates are low.
Yeah, I mean we got a girl just under contract, and her interest rate was 3.0.
Wow.
So stealing money.
You can't really find that. I mean, that's really good.
Yeah. And then with our listings and our sellers, it's one of those things where it's like don't panic. We're in a place right now. Yes, there's something odd going on. Nobody knows how to deal with it. If your house is on the market for 15 days, then let it be on the market for 15 days. Like we're not at a point right now to where it's like a panic mode of like, oh my gosh, it's going to be 60 days and nobody can look at it. We can still take our time. We still have people looking, like we're having showings, but people are just being reserved on the buying side just because, they're watching the economy. They're doing all those things to make sure that they're still in a good place. But for our listings and anybody who has their house listed right now, like leave it listed. There is an option right now to do it temporary off market, which the MLS put into system. But I don't know if we go into 60 days, maybe that might be an option. But right now where we're at, we're not advising to do.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that, they're saying it's peaking in New York, right? It's peaked in kind of the coronavirus, that is, and kind of it could be coming down. And I think that has a lot to do with people's mindset.
Sure.
If they can see that number's peaked and it's not as bad, and I think that kind of makes people a little more happy to go look.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I have seen it, excuse me, from the investor side too. I know there's some big investors that hold a lot of inventory, have a lot of capital displaced that are pulling back right now just because they want to see where this goes. They want to try and liquidate some of the properties they have, maybe sitting on the market. And I guess we're lucky in a sense is that we don't typically hold a huge amount of capital out there. So I'm looking because I think, like I said, we're going to come back out of this. So if I'm rehabbing a property, it takes me 2 to 3 months by the time we get it listed.
You're ready. Yeah.
So that's awesome to hear. Well, I know we talked a little bit before, and you guys mentioned you may have a few questions for me. I want to hear, if there's any questions that people are asking you that are different from normal, and then if you guys had anything for me, I'd love to answer it.
Well, just seeing you, so you do rentals as well, right? So you're rehabbing and you have some rentals. How's your rental market looking right now?
Yeah, so luckily, everybody paid this month. So I collected 100% of rent for April. I have one tenant who's historically been a little bit late, and he was late again. But what I've been trying to do is just stay in constant contact with my tenants, let them know that I understand what's happening, and I'm not gonna, obviously there's no evictions or anything right now, but just let them know I'm willing to work with them. I'm not necessarily cutting rents unless they need it. I haven't had anyone ask for that or need it yet, but I'd be willing to do it. If my tenants are watching, you still need to show me proof of employment, but no, I think I've said it in all my other videos, and I usually end with this, but this is a people business, whether you're renting, whether you're in retail real estate, whether you're selling a flip. At the end of the day, my goal is when I buy a house, I'm trying to help somebody solve a problem. And when I sell or rent a house, I want to provide a high quality home for somebody that's going to appreciate it as a home, not just a house to live in. So I think it's about helping people no matter which side of this business you're on. And I think the people that I see that are most successful do a really good job of that.
But I think you're at an advantage because you are doing rentals and sales. So either way, if we get into a market to where say this goes longer than expected, with you having rentals, do you have rentals available? Because that's usually what people lean towards when it gets to be a market like that.
Yeah. So what we're looking at right now, for example, the one that we are going to list next week, I was going to turn into a rental. So it's a BRRRR strategy. If you're familiar with that, we bought it, we rehabbed it, we're going to refinance it, and just hold it as a rental. I do want to try and get a little bit liquid. I think that one can sell and be maybe a better investment than it would be a rental. Mm-hmm. But the backup plan is to rent it if we have to. And the 2 flips we have coming down the pipe are the same thing.
Right.
In that low mid,
you go your way with.
We could rent it if we had to, hold it for a year, and think about selling it afterwards. So I think it's smart to have multiple exit strategies right now.
Hey, I got a question for you. Being on the investor side of stuff, have you seen more investors, or maybe your strategy, kind of take money out and get a loan rather than pay cash for stuff because interest rates are so low?
So there's been some conversation around that. I've seen a lot of people tapping into their personal means of capital, whatever that may be. HELOCs, tapping into real estate, rental houses that may have some equity, trying to stay liquid. I personally think right now is probably the best time to be a private lender in real estate because the stock market's so all over the place.
Right.
Commercial or typical loans are a little bit more difficult with investment properties, and that's a whole different conversation. We could
yeah.
I haven't. Most of the guys I know, and what we try and do is we like to work with private individuals, pay them a good interest rate, usually 8 to 10%. I don't think I'm breaking any laws telling what we pay. So, and that's been a good deal for us. It allows us to move quickly, allows us to get in and help people, and that's kind of part of the the value we bring. So we're getting a little close to time. I feel like all of these could go a lot longer, but I want to give you an opportunity to tell people where they can find you.
So we've got all the things. Email would be Franklins of Bham, BHAM, @lahrealestate.com. We've got an Instagram, and our handle is Franklins_of_Bham. We have a website, www.franklinsofbham.com. Facebook, same thing. Just Google Franklins of Bham. You can most likely find us there.
Awesome. And as always, guys, you can find me at O'Brien Homes on Instagram and Facebook. Probably the easiest way to find me. And I'll put all these links to everything in the notes. And thank you guys so much for being here today. I really appreciate
you. Thank you.
Bye, Emmy.
Bye, Emmy.